Hi, I'm Peter.
And I'm Ketmia.
Welcome to the This and That Chat.
Okay, is it just me, or does it feel like the song was a lot shorter this time?
I think we've heard it so many times that it just happens, and it's like, whoa.
Woo, surprise.
Yep.
Song's over. Time to start talking.
We are here.
So, you know the Twilight books.
The vampire books?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So recently, a new book came out, and it's called Midnight Sun. All right?
About the same story.
You know about this.
No.
Okay, yes, it's the same.
I'm asking you.
Oh, you're asking. I was going to be surprised. I thought you were going to say, I watched a video about this.
No, I didn't.
I was so surprised right now. Okay. So, yes, it is the same story.
We're gonna lose people because we're talking about Twilight.
Hold on. It's relevant. It's relevant, okay? It's the same story. The only difference is it's actually Twilight, the very first book, but through Edward's perspective. The exact same book through Edward's perspective. Okay? I don't know if the author is trying to make more money. I don't know if there was a demand to hear the other side of the same story. But I thought, since this is a part 1 of 2, do you imagine that today's episode was the same story, but my perspective?
And that's the end of our podcast for the day. Thank you guys for joining us.
I thought about that. I was like, what if we told people we're recording the same story, but now it's going to be through my perspective? I mean, if nobody out there says that's a good idea, I don't know why this book is a good idea.
Because people like stuff like that.
Okay, granted. But the author said she's only doing it for the first book. Who cares about Edward's perspective for the very first book? He's in every single book. They would want his perspective for every single book. I'm just saying. I think it's a dumb idea. No offense to anybody who likes the book, because I personally like the series myself. But
okay, well, I agree with you. But we can modify that, and you can pick up where we left off.
And where is that exactly? Because I think we were at New Year's, but I think I'm wrong.
No, it was the day after.
That's where we ended, was the day after, and I said
you
yes?
You said yes.
Okay.
So you're now my girlfriend.
Now I'm your girlfriend, right?
Mm-hmm.
But didn't we talk about eloping? I thought we went a little further than that.
I think it kind of
hinted at that
there.
Yeah. You know, so when I think about the next phase, I almost feel like that first chapter or part of the book is done, and now we're going to a whole other place. Because it's like everything changes. The mood changes, the tempo changes. I don't know how to say it, but like everything, it just feels different. There's a shift in everything.
Well, there's a shift because we're now talking to each other more than it just being a pipe dream.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I think that there's so many factors that go into how everything shifted. I think the best way to describe it is like the speed of a car. You went from nothing to all of a sudden we ran away together. Like that's an extreme, one extreme to the other.
Did we talk about that?
I think we hinted at the fact that we eloped. Maybe people thought we were joking, but we actually ran away together.
So I'll touch on that just a little bit. So we come up with this incredible plan to move in together. That happened, I think, in like a 5-minute time span of us talking. And for the sake of not being a complete hooligan, I parked my car just like half a block down the street. And the same friend that caused Denise to pick a not so appropriate costume and also caused Denise to go out and end up in a car accident, shows up and goes into the house and helps Ketmia pick up the whatever thing she was going to take, and we jumped in our car, and that's how it started.
That's how it started.
Something.
Exactly like that. Exactly like that, with nothing but dreams. And I mean, I know that it's cliche, and I know that I think a lot of people think, how could you possibly think you would make it on that? But, and I don't really know if it was just my lack of experience or if it's my, my dreamy way of thinking, right? Where I believed.
I think you might be using the wrong word.
I think
I don't think we were thinking.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I have like this way of viewing the world that is, and I romanticize things, and so then it causes me to look at things in a way that isn't exactly always practical. I am a dreamer, so I see things in a different way. And to me, I could not imagine not being with you. I don't know what it would have been like, and I've thought about this throughout the years, what it would have been like for us to date, for you to pick me up for a date, for us to, be those people who we dated for 3 years and then we got married. I don't know, because it just felt like there was.
I don't think it would have worked.
I don't know. Let's say that there wasn't any issue with dating or anything. Why do you think it wouldn't have worked?
I don't know. I think that the way things happened with us caused us to grow up together, and there were a lot of tweaks in the way that we put the finishing touches on our personalities that kind of worked.
I mean, yeah, clearly something worked, but I was laughing right now because I'm thinking about in Fiddler on the Roof, right? One of my favorite movies. The girls all want the matchmaker to find them a match, right? And they have this whole matchmaker song. But at the end, it's like they have this epiphany of, wait, they could get matched with someone who is a terrible husband, who beats them, who's drunk. Like, they start imagining the worst kind of man that they could get matched with, right? And something that they say is that playing with matches, a girl can get burned, right? And that's exactly what I feel happened to us, was that our relationship, it was almost like it caught fire so quickly that everything then just moved like at light speed, right? And
we moved fast without any plan.
Without any plan and without any hesitation. Mm-hmm. For like on my part, you would think that for someone who is not educated in the ways of the world, I would feel more hesitant or more uneasy about how fast everything was moving. But to me, it was so easy with you. Everything just felt so natural. It was like, there, and I feel like it's getting cliche, It's made to measure, fits like a glove, puzzle pieces, like whatever you want to throw in there. That's just what it felt like for me. And it was, to me, I think that while other people might think we were thinking illogically, I feel like I never thought clearer than at that moment, right? Which doesn't make any sense because, again, like you said, we had no plan. We have no money. It's literally like It's you and me against the world, and we'll figure it out.
And there was no one who was going to stop us. Because we got, listen, there were people who talked to us and told us, pump the brakes. Like, what are you guys doing? Think this through. There are other ways of doing this. But, I mean, we were looking for an apartment a week later, if even. Because there was the initial shock. I mean, well, so the first night that you were, that you and I were together, was that the same night we went out to the O Bar, the club? I think it was the first, it was right off the bat. We were like, we're free and we're going to go to a club and we're going to go dancing. Anyone who knows me, I don't dance.
Anyone who knows me. I thought it was a nightclub like in I Love Lucy.
This was a mess. It was so bad. So, okay, wait. So we get there.
Oh my, listen. I'm sorry. I'm gonna jump in right now and just say something, and then you can have the floor, okay? But believe me when I say this. You know how we see in movies where they tell them, ooh, you know, there's like Sin City and like the world out there is evil and all of that stuff? I feel like when I walked into that club, all of those things that I had heard all my life, it was like, oh my God, it exists. That's like you took me to Vegas.
Listen, I personally had never been to a bar, to a club either. I don't, like I said, I don't dance, right? But our friends, and there's air quotes that you can't see, but they're there.
Our like, work friends.
Our work friends.
Our work couple friends.
They were like, let's go. It's going to be so much fun. Blah, blah, blah. What in the world did I get myself into? So we get there. It's ladies' night. I think ladies were drinking free, and there was free entrance for the ladies or whatever. And so we come up with this idea that the ladies will get drinks and just bring them back for the guys. And we were just going to dance the night away. And it looked like fifth grade. It would look like a fifth grade dance with everyone out on the floor. And Ketmia and I are sitting next to a fake plant in the corner.
You remember so much more than I do.
Yeah, it was weird.
You remember so much more than I do because I don't remember the fact that you remember a fake plant, it must have been an amazing fake plant.
No, it was just like, it was in the way because I wanted to sit down, but
it was in the way.
It was. But, you know, anyways, it was not for us. We've never been back to a...
No, we've got to finish the story now.
Oh, God.
Okay, we've got to finish the story because...
Okay, go. This is yours.
Because last time, in our last episode, you said that on New Year's Eve, you got so drunk and you've never been that drunk again, right? So now it's my drunk story, okay?
Days apart.
Oh my gosh, you were so right, okay? And so I've never had alcohol in that capacity because I will admit my mom used to have a bottle of the Manischewitz. I think that's how you say it.
Manischewitz.
Okay, the wine, the grape wine that she would use for something. I don't know what it was for. But to me, the first time I tasted it, it reminded me of another one of my favorite movies, Anne of Green Gables. Okay, there is a scene where Marilla has a raspberry cordial that is not alcoholic, but she mistakes the bottle and gives her friend Diana the actual wine and gets her drunk. Okay. And I always imagined, because she would say that she was drinking and it was so, so delicious, I always imagined that that's what it tasted like. So when my mom wasn't looking, I would take cranberry juice and I would put it in there and I would drink it. But literally it was a splash.
So by the end of by the time she went back to go get it, she was just drinking cranberry juice. Were you putting cranberry juice in the Manischewitz?
No. I was putting my cranberry juice.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but like a splash because I was so scared of getting caught. So that doesn't even really
Rebel.
count. Yeah,
A
that doesn't
rebel.
even count. Okay, so we're at this club, and I don't remember the whole thing about the girls getting drinks for the guys because I don't really remember much. Okay, there are things that I remember about that. Sin City. Okay, that's what I remember thinking. B, all the drinks that I was getting were so good. Okay. And I remember it was like, oh, let me try yours. Oh, let me try yours. Oh, let me try yours. And everyone's having something different. I don't know that there's like, don't mix this drink with that drink rule. I don't know anything about that. I just know that someone gave me something that's orange juice and it tastes amazing. Okay.
That was the tequila sunrise.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh, I like that one. Give me another one. And I remember one of our friends saying, whoa, you're drinking them a little bit too fast. And I was like, I feel completely fine. There's nothing wrong with me. I feel completely fine. And they were chuckling, but they were trying. They were trying to be good friends. I mean, I have to give them
Mind you,
that.
we were 18 years old.
Right.
We had no business being there getting drinks. First of all, and they were coming. They were coming at us, like one after another. We drank. I mean,
Crazy how they didn't check that stuff back then.
well, they were bringing it to us.
I guess.
We weren't going up there and ordering them.
But still, like, there was nobody walking around and checking. So, all of a sudden, guess what I found out? I am an amazing dancer.
I wish there was video because hold on.
I really wish there was
Because
video.
could you imagine in your head you're an amazing dancer, but I know as a fact that neither of us are amazing dancers.
Correct. And guess
Or
who was
even-
dancing
or-
amazing too?
Or even close to it. Listen, my drunk moves are pretty horrible.
That's the thing, right? So we're both thinking we're amazing dancers, okay? Now, just a little side note, I feel like I always wanted to dance, but that was just another thing that was just not part of our culture growing up, was that, dancing was just not allowed.
But it was part of mine.
Exactly, but you're a guy. I mean, I think there aren't that many guys who love dancing. I don't know. We could do a poll. Do a poll next week and find out.
The problem is that my hips don't move the way
Your hips don't lie, Shakira.
my Shakira. I do not have Shakira hips.
Oh my goodness! With your Cuban blood and everything, what a
Horrible.
disgrace.
I can keep a beat on
Yeah.
anything,
You can.
but dancing, no.
No, I think you're just embarrassed too.
I just don't have the movement.
Well, I don't know.
I look like a robot.
No, you
hey,
don't. He
hey.
doesn't.
Hold on.
He doesn't.
I bet you that if I give myself a lot of practice, I could probably do a mean robot. I like win competitions and stuff.
Moving along. Okay. So, I think we're doing this amazing dance. It's just like, I just feel so loose and so free and uninhibited. And, I'm losing all my shyness. And I'm just feeling like super confident. And then all of a sudden, one of the girls says, I need to go to the bathroom. I'm not feeling so good. Right? And me, being a nice friend, I'll go with you. Okay? I'm still on my high of I'm totally fine, right? I decide, let me use the restroom while I'm here, right? I get in there, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, all of a sudden, here comes everything that I've had to drink. Okay? I don't think in my life I've ever thrown up the way I threw up that day. Okay? I'm thinking I've left my soul here. All right? And all of a sudden, see, you have to get the picture, right? My face is facing the toilet. I'm trying to lean into it in a way that I'm not getting anything on me. I'm also trying for people not to hear what I'm doing. So I have the mental capacity to be trying to keep up appearances like I'm good, all right? When all of a sudden, whatever little light, because it was a dank, badly lit restroom. I remember that, all right? All of a sudden, it gets blocked out. And I turn around, and I'm horrified to see that there is a giant person who's peeking over my stall. And I am confused because this is the first time in my life that I see a man dressed up as a woman. I've never seen this before, and you could clearly tell it was a man. I'm not even saying that it's a cross-dresser, okay? I think it's the bouncer who has been told, put on a wig, okay, and go and put on some big old earrings, and go. That way you can go into the girls' bathroom and make sure that there aren't underage drinkers. I honestly think that that's the case because you could very well tell that it was a man. I am just horrified by this, okay, because I've never seen this, and now all of a sudden, this is where the drunk is actually hitting me, right? I've just thrown up. I am now worried that I'm going to be thrown in jail for this because I don't know what the rules are like. So I'm scrambling to rip off the little pass that they gave us.
The band that tells that you're not old enough.
Right. I'm running because he keeps yelling at me and in a very deep manly voice, show me your band, show me your arm. And I'm like amazing strength to rip that because they make those things. Even when you go to Universal, when you go to any of these places, what do they think people are going to do?
Rip them off.
And do what with it?
Give them to somebody else so they can come in?
You would be able to tell it's ripped.
Well, no, because if it was easy to be taken off, then it could be...
But then you can't go in. That doesn't make sense.
You're already inside.
Well, I guess. Anyway, so I rip this thing off and I flush it down the toilet because now I figure my defense when the cops come to arrest me is going to be, sir, I don't have an underage ban. Look at my logic. Okay, look at my logic. So now he sees me without a ban. He says, you out. And I get escorted out of the Sin City Club that I first went to. Okay? Meanwhile, I don't know what's going on, if you guys know what's going on.
Well, we saw you leaving. Well, we saw you being
escorted,
taken out. So the group was like, we mobilized. We were like the Avengers. We mobilized and out the door. And here we are carrying you and everyone else is dragging behind us. And we get into... Well, we go to the parking lot and we go and we find our car and we leave. And I don't remember who... Oh, I remember who drove because he didn't drink.
Alex?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Alex was always the designated driver in any of those situations. He's actually the one who took me home a couple days before.
So funny. Anyway, that was my drunk story. But also a key, I don't know, it's painting, to me, I look back and I think this is how we got our start together.
Yeah.
And you mentioned it earlier, growing up together. That's literally been my experience anyway, especially I think coming from a very conservative and sheltered background. For me, I feel like most of my experience, most of my knowledge, most of my, things that I've learned have been with you or have come from you.
And see, for me, it was a little bit different because my parents didn't hold back from, I don't know, if I had to go back and say there was point A or point B or here or there that I was told not to drink, not to do drugs, I don't think those exact words ever came out of my parents' mouth, but there was almost like an implied education in that, because during high school, I had opportunities to try drugs. I had opportunities to drink at parties, and I never did. It was a choice that I made. Maybe it was the not wanting to disappoint my parents, maybe. I don't know. But like I said, my first time that I got drunk was just a few days before that on that New Year's party. So,
So now we fast forward, right? And so now we're moving in together. We think, hey, this is a great idea. We have no money. We have no plan. Let's get a place together. Why not?
Hold on. So I need to talk a little bit about how we got. So we find this apartment to be 100%.
It's an efficiency.
Honest, yeah. It was a great little place. Like, to start off, it had a separate bedroom. It didn't have a living room, but it had like a small dining area and a kitchen with a bathroom. It was just super small space. But it was actually really, really great. And the owner was really good with us. He put in a stove. He did like stuff that we asked him to, because we wanted to have a little bit of those extra amenities in our first place. And but we didn't have a penny to our name. We had no way of getting in there. I think it was first and security that we needed to give.
I wonder, and so that's another thing is like, just as an interject, I think people are wondering, why didn't we have any money to our name? Because we both had jobs and you'd been working for a while.
Yeah, but like I had a car payment. I had
some debt.
Some debt, that I was, making payments on. You were giving all your money to the house. So we literally, when we started, like, I had car insurance. I'm a young guy living in Miami.
And you were living
for my
here,
own insurance.
But you were living here with your grandma.
Yeah. But I'm saying I still...
So you didn't have rent, I'm saying. So
I
you
didn't have rent,
that.
Right. But, I'm making, $200 a week. That doesn't cover, I had a $300 car payment.
And the thing is, I do kind of remember us discussing what we could afford based on our average paycheck, right? But the problem that the thing that we didn't figure out is that we were starting at a zero balance. And that doesn't work when you calculate for what you're getting in the future when you've got expenses now, because what happens is that when you get to that, then you are negative and you can never catch up. You're always in this hole. And that took us like 15 years to figure out.
Yeah. We're getting too far ahead there.
Oh, sorry.
So we need to come up with first and last. And I think we got first,
but we didn't have last.
We didn't have security or last or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember going to my grandma's house.
Your sweet grandparents, yeah. Bless them.
Who wasn't? This is the same grandma who sits on her phone, looking at people through the ring. But
bless her heart.
I remember going up to her and being like, "Abuela, look, this is what's happening. Can you help?" And she cut us a check. And
that should have been like our very first warning. Hey, you can't even afford this.
We had no idea what we were doing. But
to me, I was fearless. Like, fearless in the sense of, I'm not worried about it. I've got Peter. I'm not worried about it.
Well, we get into the house, and the owner's like, "Oh, I'll bring the lease. I'll bring the lease. And he goes, I think it took forever for the lease to even get there. Mm-hmm. We had dressed up the house. He had put in the stove. All the work had been done. Ketmia was like, we need bed covers. So she went to Target.
Oh yeah, we had no bed covers. Mm-hmm. We had no towels.
We had nothing.
We really didn't. We're talking about starting brand new. So Peter made the mistake of sending me to Target by myself.
Can I put a little like side note?
Put a little side note that I've never been shopping by myself.
Okay, yeah. And listen,
Or to Target.
we're celebrating 21 years this week.
Hold on, you're getting ahead of yourself.
Shh, hold on. 21 years this week, and I'm still afraid of sending her without me.
True, but I've got secrets up my sleeve now. Okay, so never mind. I'm not giving those away here.
Anyway, so she goes to Target, and she is going to go pay, and the lovely cashier says, "Hello, ma'am. Would you like to apply for a Target credit card? We're giving you 5% off or blah, 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 or whatever it was, if you sign up today." And she's like, "I don't got to pay for it today. Let's see what happens." So she applies for
credit card?
Yeah, she applies for the card. They give her a limit.
300.
Yeah, and guess how much she put on the card?
300.
There it is. That was our start.
First day ever with a credit card, and I've maxed it out. Flag number 2. We should make note of all the flags that come up in our store. Okay, that's
Yeah.
bad.
So bad.
So bad. Okay, and so then now we go do groceries because we've got to fill our fridge,
groceries.
right? And mind you, I've been to the grocery store with my mom. I've helped her do groceries. You know, I know that every time she went to the store, she had a list, and she was pretty good about knowing exactly what she was going to get. So I just thought, hey, mom knows exactly what she's going to get. The end. I don't think that I thought about she's planning it out budget-wise or anything like that. It's just she's getting what she needs. So we go to the grocery store, and you've got to imagine this, right? 18-year-old kids going to the grocery store, and we're putting in the grocery cart everything that we want to eat.
And even on some of the stuff, so Alex taught us, remember, to use Montreal steak seasoning, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was where we first had it. Worcestershire sauce.
I don't think we would have discovered
say it?
Montreal.
Worcestershire sauce.
Okay, you say it and then I'll say it, and then we'll let people decide how you say it correctly.
Worcestershire
It's
sauce.
Lee and Pairings.
Whatever. Anyways, so we're in the store, and I'm like, well, we need to get that sauce, the Worcestershire sauce, and we need Montreal steak seasoning, and we need some steaks, because why are we gonna buy this if we don't have some steaks? And boom, 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 we walk up to the cashier. We've got a shopping cart.
Mind you, we didn't
full
plan
of
out
groceries.
meals.
No, I think the only thing we planned out was you were gonna
The steaks.
and a whole chicken.
Whole
Remember the whole
chicken?
chicken? There was a whole
A
chicken,
whole chicken
in there.
for us.
Yes. Anyways,
For
goodness.
2 people.
So we get up there, everything gets rung up, and then here comes the bill. It was like $400 something.
Peter.
How much was it?
No, it was like 2 something.
I don't know.
$400. By the way, I've heard there's a myth that guys multiply the numbers. All the numbers they say are multiplied by 2. Is that true?
I don't know. Anyways, so here it's this bill, and we look at each other, and we're like, oh, we need money to pay for this. What do we do? So I pull out my credit card and swipe it, and bada bing, we've got food and more debt. That's flag number 3.
Yep. And then it comes time to pay our first month of rent.
Goodness gracious.
And here is
What was his name? What was the
Oh, should we say it out loud? His name was Carlos.
It was Carlos.
I will never
Carlos.
forget that. This is a sincere, honest to God, first apology of the night.
Carlos, if you're out there and you happen to come across this and you remember that it was us, we are so sorry for
Truly.
about what's going to happen right
Truly. Truly. We never got to apologize.
now. No.
It's one of those things that it's kind of regretful.
Yeah, so first month of rent.
Regrettable. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. I
Yeah.
had to correct myself.
First month of rent is due, and we don't have a penny to our name. There's absolutely nothing at all that we have.
I think we didn't have enough money for rent.
Yeah. And we kept on telling him, yeah, we'll give it to you next. Oh, give us another week. We just moved in. Oh, help us out. And it was like 2 weeks.
And we hadn't signed the lease yet.
Yeah, we hadn't signed the lease.
Hadn't given it to us yet.
Yeah. And, it was so bad. So we're like 2 or 3 weeks past. And we were avoiding him at all cost. And we made this crazy, elaborate plan.
Can I say it?
Go.
To run away again.
To run away again. Flag number 4.
I think we're at 5
or 6. Who knows? So,
oh man,
my dad. Was it my dad's truck?
I don't know. I know you called your dad and you explained the situation to him, and
we were like, we're in a mess. We're like, we need help. I don't know what to do.
And yet, I don't think that even then it's totally hit us that
we still
that
don't
we're
realize.
on our own, and no, and so we pack up whatever little bit we have, and we leave without even telling the owner that we were leaving. I mean, to me, I know that he was at work. He wasn't home when we left, and I'm surprised. I mean, did we have cell phones back then?
I had one.
I didn't have
I had
a cell
one.
phone.
It was a flip. One of those flip phones.
It was a flip phone, but I'm surprised that he never called us.
No.
We never heard from him. I think that at that point, maybe he didn't want to. I don't know. I've just always felt very bad about, because I was taught about, responsibility and being a person of your word. And I feel like that was awful for me to know that we broke our word to him, that he said that he had interviewed other people for that place, but he liked us and he chose us. And that's just something that's just, wow. That's when the real world came calling and we said, oh, run.
Yeah. Well, we ran far. We went down to the Keys.
Yes.
So, we moved into my parents' house while we were going to fix up the garage to make it
a living space.
A living space for us. Mm-hmm. So we went through that entire process of making that a living space while we're in my parents' house, still
trying to figure things out.
Trying to figure things out.
And to me, it was like amazing to go down to the Keys. Mm-hmm. I had never, ever visited the Keys before. Okay. I'm not even really sure I had ever even heard of the Keys, mind you, because people have to remember we didn't have the internet back then. I think just the internet had come out maybe like a year after. I don't even know when we got those little cards. Remember the ones?
Well, it was in '99. So, because I remember my senior year.
That it came out?
Yeah. You would go, you'd have the 1 month free AOL, and you'd go get it from the CD, like a little CD, and you go get it from Winn-Dixie or whatever, and then you come home and you plug it in, and it gives you a month for free. It was the worst.
I just have to say this very quick story right now because it just reminded me of something, okay? But, you were able to go get a CD and do that because you had a computer, yes?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. You had a computer. So in my house, we did not have a computer, all right? Except that somebody gave my dad a giant monitor, and it was an IBM computer. I remember it was a giant monitor, like with this big, big one, right? And he gave him the keyboard and the monitor. And my dad plugged it into my room. I was so excited, okay? And it had that little blinking thing for you to type in, I guess, your password or to get in.
The MS-DOS.
Oh, something like that, right? And I think you could only type maybe like 5 letters. And I would sit there and I would just like type And it was like, oh my God. And he said, at least you can practice your typing on it. Okay. We never had the password to get into it.
Yeah, I bought a computer right before coming up to college.
For college. Wow.
And I remember it was a Dell computer, and they delivered it to my house in a cow box.
A cow? What is a cow box?
It was a box that was painted like a cow. Because that was the whole thing with Dell back then.
Really?
Yeah.
What does it have? What do computers have to do with cows?
I have absolutely no idea, and I'm going to have to look that up.
We have to look. I've never heard that before.
I don't remember exactly what it was, but the box came, and I remember the box was delivered to the house, and it was a big old like square box, and it was a cow.
Wow, that's super interesting. Anyway, so we didn't have internet back then, right? For me to know about the Florida Keys or anything. So to me, I didn't know what people thought about it, that it's paradise, that it's amazing, whatever, right? To me, it was just a complete, I don't know, just it was a complete shift from what I was used to. The beach was something that was a special trip for us. It was like a whole day thing. You had to pack up for it and all that stuff. And literally here, the beach is down the street.
Down a few
down
blocks.
the street. You're literally surrounded by water. The atmosphere was different. The people were different. I remember always locking the door and you telling me that you didn't need to do that here because nobody locked their door here. And it was just amazing. I felt like I had moved to a whole other place, which I had always wanted to leave.
You did.
No, I know. But it's still Florida. But to
the
me,
Keys
it was...
are
it
another
definitely
universe.
is.
So here we are. We've moved down. We're in the process of getting our living space, living quarters put together. And we are just so much was going on. It's like there's never enough. There's not enough time to even go through all that stuff. But we had just found out that we were going to be parents. And
yeah,
it was one
exciting.
Of those like deer.
To me,
it was a deer in the headlight moment, I think.
For you,
yeah.
You know, but for me, again, I feel like there was this idea that we were playing house, but playing house in real life. Mm-hmm. So to me, it wasn't shocking. I wasn't nervous. To me, it was the most natural thing. Yeah, we're doing that, right? And so, and it's interesting because not once at this point have we talked about getting married. Not once at all. To me, it's just assumed we're getting married. Mm-hmm. I just know we're getting married. You're my soulmate. We're going to be together forever, of course, okay? And literally, that's what I'm thinking. And it's so naive of me to think that way. But, and you've never asked me. That's another thing is like, you never asked me to marry you.
I didn't. It was, again, just assumed.
It's so weird. It's like we were on the same wavelength then, thinking the same thing. I don't know.
You remember? Okay, so obviously we got married, right? So
wait, don't fast forward.
I'm not going to fast forward. I'm actually going sideways a little bit.
Okay.
So when we decided that we were going to get married, and that we were going to do the wedding thing or whatever, we needed to go find rings. You remember where we went?
I do. Service merchandise.
Service merchandise.
And now that was the store I had been to before because my dad shopped there for, and he'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that he bought my mom jewelry there and cooking stuff. And I don't know how long that store actually lasted, but I remember going there and really liking it because it reminded me of the magazine Finger Hut. You remember Finger Hut?
That still comes to the house.
That's still, yeah, but I'm saying that was a magazine my grandmother used to get.
Yeah.
Okay, and I remember looking at everything there and going.
Do you remember at Service Merchandise you had to go, and anything that you bought, it was a little ticket, and you took it to the cashier, you paid for it, and it was like it would come down through a conveyor belt.
I was going to tell you that I remember an escalator, but then it's conveyor belts that I
It was a
remember.
conveyor belt that would drop.
Wow.
That would bring all the merchandise down, and then you pick it up from there and go.
Wow. So weird. Their way of doing business, it was very different because another store that my dad loved was Sears.
They didn't change with the times, and that's probably
what ate them up. And they were expensive, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, we do go shopping. Okay, so I just have to say something real quick, but, Peter had a dream that we were grandparents and old together, right? And he shared this dream with me. And that was the first time that I was like, you dreamt that? Like, you want to marry me? So stupid that I even asked you that, because in my mind it was a given, but I guess it was just like, it was the first time it was being vocalized out loud. And you were like, duh.
Yeah, like, hello.
Duh, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, let's go pick a ring with all the money that we don't have,
Yep. So we go in there and we look at the rings, and oh my goodness. We were like, can you show us some rings? And the guy showed us, and we're like, no, cheaper. no,
cheaper
sir.
than this?
No, sir. Yeah,
Where
cheaper.
is the chipper chicken?
Yeah, the chipper chicken. I think we spent like $250.
I have no idea how much we spent. All I know is that we walked away with the wedding ring and the engagement ring.
And my ring.
And your ring.
Yeah, so we got 3 rings.
And lifetime warranty, remember?
And then the store closed.
Shush, I was getting to that. Yes.
So, anyways, we head back down to the Keys, and we are now...
I just want to say that the diamonds on the rings were like grains of sand.
Oh, wait. You remember... Wait. So we're walking... Hold on. Hold on, wait. Stop. So we're walking out of service merchandise, and Ketmia looks over at me, and she's like, you've never asked me. Oh my goodness. I open up the bag, and I pull out the ring, and I can't even remember what it was, what the next few steps were, but it ended with a ring on her finger and I don't know. I think I took a club out of the bag.
I think you were sassy, and you said to me, "Oh, would you say no?"
Yeah, listen. You were a couple months pregnant. We had already. I think. Okay, well, hold on. So the reason the wedding thing kind of even showed.
Well, I was gonna say that right now, right? Yeah. It's just I wanted to say that, but because again, I'm looking back and I'm thinking through this, and for being again brought up in such a conservative and old-fashioned home, ideal wise, right? To me, it's surprising to me that I didn't even think about wanting to get married. I felt like at this point we've run away together. Okay, we've eloped essentially. So we are way past keeping up with old-fashioned traditions and doing anything like that. We're past all of that. And to me, I didn't actually want to get married until the following summer, mostly because I didn't want to be pregnant in a wedding dress. And second, I didn't want people to think that we were getting married.
Yeah, shotgun wedding.
Right. Oh, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
What?
It's called a shotgun wedding because the father-in-law
walked the groom with a shotgun?
Yeah, to make sure that he married his pregnant daughter.
Are you serious?
And there's some more insight on Ketmia, guys.
Wow. Wow. That's incredible. Okay, you're going to sidetrack me now.
Anyways,
okay, and then another thing I'm thinking about right now is that there's a lot of girls who dream about their wedding day, and they have these fantasies about where they're going to get married and the dress and all of this stuff, and none of that was me ever. I don't ever remember having dreams or fantasies about that or plans for that. I really just thought about like where I was going to live and being a mom. Like to me, that was the big dream, was being a mom and doing that stuff. So for me, again, going back to, I didn't want people to think that we were getting married because of that. Because to me, it just meant more. Like I really, truly believed that you and I were made for each other. Like there was no one else for me. And I didn't want that to be lost in gossip and speculation and assumptions that he has to marry her now, or now she's got to. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it's interesting because I think people thought whatever they were going to think one way or the other, and for your mom, I think it was important for her really that her son have a wedding, that you were the first one who was going through this process, and she didn't want it. I wanted to go to the court. That's what my mom did. So maybe even in that, because she didn't have her own wedding and it wasn't a big deal, it wasn't something she ever talked about, maybe that's why I didn't place any value on that.
For me, I think the court would have been just fine, and we would have just moved on.
Literally, I think every man agrees with you.
Well,
I'm just saying. You're not saying anything new.
I guess. So we start planning this whole thing.
Well, I remember telling your parents, we have no money.
Yeah.
We cannot afford anything at all. This is why we are here. And your parents said, take care of the dress and we'll take care of everything else.
So we went to the dress place and we were like, the cheaper chicken, please.
I think we went to Dave's Bridal.
No, remember we went, it was on 87th.
And we asked them for the clearance section.
No, listen. It was on 87th and Coral Way.
Of course it would be.
Okay.
Of course.
It was back in the little corner.
Anyone who knows the area knows exactly why it would be there.
Yeah. It was back in the little corner in between the building
they were like, this
Kmart.
is the discontinued section.
Yes. And remember, so I think your dress was $100.
It was exactly $100.
That
was a special. Mm-hmm. All these dresses on this rack are $100.
And the lady was like, you can make it fancy with some gloves.
That's true. And a little crown.
Yep. So you bought some gloves and the crown.
And it was a silver dress. Mm-hmm. It was a silver dress.
We'll put a picture of the...
I still have it.
Of
I don't
wedding.
know why on earth I kept it.
Yeah, it's just sitting there.
It's just sitting there.
So here we are just trying to get this thing together. And I remember my grandmother made all the decorations and my parents made food. And
I actually remember helping stuff little mints into little
in
bags.
The organza bags?
Something. I know that your mom was... that was the first time I saw curling ribbon. Mm-hmm. She was also like handling a lot of the decorations and stuff.
And goodness, what else did we do?
Your aunt got the cake, I think.
Yeah, my aunt got the cake. And
then they made like a home-style food where they cooked all the meal.
Yeah, but that's how we do things. So at my family, anytime, if you go to any party at my family's, on my family side, it's you're going to eat pork, you're going to eat congri and yuca.
But that's not what we had. What did we have?
We had pork and congri.
Maybe. I don't remember that. I remember something else being served.
I don't.
I remember it being arroz imperial.
I don't remember. Maybe. Who knows?
You're probably right that we had that. That's probably... I tried that and not the other stuff.
We got to our wedding day. I think it's the same thing for anyone. I think you just get there exhausted.
Yeah, I did feel exhausted.
It was so much that we were trying to do.
I just remembered. I decided to bleach my hair.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, what a mess. First time ever bleaching my hair. It doesn't
go blonde.
Orange. Okay, so on my wedding pictures, yeah, there was no touch up. Nope. It was orangey hair. And the hair on my head was almost like the same. It was the same tone, I think, as my skin. So it just, to me, I just look at those pictures. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Who was it? My mom took pictures.
Yep, your mom was like the designated family photographer for a
Yeah.
long time.
Oh my goodness. Do you remember what happened with our wedding pictures?
No?
Remember that they went to go be developed and then Walgreens lost them and they ended up. Oh no, it wasn't. It was Eckerd's.
Dear old Eckerd's.
Dear old Eckerd's.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, they lost the pictures and then they ended up in Key Largo somehow because they didn't there wasn't like a lab to develop them in store, and it got sent away or something or whatever.
Wow, I guess that those little things.
We ended up getting the pictures for free.
Oh wow, oh wow.
So,
but there's there's a lot of things that I think again looking back, there's things in that I missed out in our wedding. That I would have loved to have. But there's things that I really loved about it as well. Okay. One of them being that we got to get married outside in a really idyllic setting, in a gazebo, in a private colony island in the Keys.
it really was pretty amazing. The space that we had, I gotta hand it to my mom because I don't think did we really have anything to do with a lot of the stuff for the wedding
At all. Like I just remember being told like, "Oh, we're filling these things up,
It's
help
like,
here or
be
go to this."
here.
Exactly. Stuff like that.
But I mean, even
And I was extremely sick also.
yeah, right at the beginning of
Oh
the
my gosh,
pregnancy.
for the first 3 months it was, and it always hit me at dinner time. That's a story for another day.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, that's usually the time when people were doing stuff, and that's the time where it was like the worst for me.
Yeah. I mean, like when I look back at it and I look at our wedding, we had a blast. It was fun. It was pretty. To me, it was nice. Like what was like the way it was put together. I mean, the gazebo, the entrance to, the way that you walk down the aisle. That whole part of it was really well decorated and well thought out. And then the hall that was rented was decorated super nice. Great DJ.
And it's so interesting because look, even though because I feel like in a way it's like we had a wedding coordinator, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking about like the brides who are planning their wedding right now or have somebody planning it for them, right? And they just have to say yes to all these details, or maybe they're not even very involved at all. It's still an exhausting thing anyway. And when I think back on all of those things, I don't remember all of those details. I don't remember the decorations or all of that stuff. And there's so much when you think about it, that it was your family that went through all of that trouble to put it all together. It's really remarkable that they were able to do that, and it's like, I don't know that I don't know, like at that moment, I don't know that I recognized all of the work that they did, because you're just, it's a daze and a blur when that day arrives.
I don't think you really could.
Yeah.
So we were exhausted.
I think we left at midnight.
Yeah, it was pretty late. And do we apologize? Our second apology.
What are you thinking about?
Oh goodness.
Apologize for what?
So instead of going back to my parents' house, because we have no money, right? I get a room at the Marathon Harbor Inn, I think is what it was called, or something like that. Really nice room, whatever.
Oh, for the wedding night.
Yeah, it was for the wedding night. And I'm thinking, no, we'll just go back to the hotel room, that it'll just be us, and it'll be, we'll cap off the night, right? Whatever. So I go and I set up the room and trying to be romantic and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and just as a little note, right? You are a very romantic guy, which again is what is surprising about you not being romantic in the proposal part.
Yeah, I know.
That's like the only contradicting fact about you in this whole story.
So we so we go into so I go and I set up the room, and I put rose petals on the bed, and
Where did you get all those rose petals?
I don't remember.
And don't worry, people. We're keeping this PG.
Yes, it's very PG.
And this, yes, it's just a little
Yes. So,
note.
anyways, so I set up the room. It's all romantic.
You don't remember where you got the rose petals? Because that was a lot of rose petals.
I think we bought roses and then we ripped them off.
I know you told me that your cousin helped you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we just went to the stores.
Oh
and
my
the keys.
gosh, roses are expensive.
Yeah, I think I don't think I bought them either.
Stop it. Oh my God, so many
I didn't
apologies.
say I was stealing them.
What does that mean? You
I'm
didn't
saying
buy
that
them?
somebody paid for them.
Oh,
I didn't
that
have
somebody,
any money.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Anyways, so
marrying Aladdin over here.
So we get back, or we leave the party and we drive over there. I don't think you knew about the room.
No, you surprised me with that, because I remember telling you, wait, aren't we going home?
Yeah.
And you're like, no, it's our
so,
wedding night.
Yeah, so we show up there, and there was a party at the pool, or there was a bunch of people at the pool.
Yes.
And they saw us going up into the
because
room.
you did your carry over the threshold.
And there was hooting and hollering and all this kind of stuff. We're on the 3rd floor, I think, and there's all this hooting and hollering, and I'm just thinking in my head,
I'm super embarrassed.
I'm like, please don't fall, please don't fall. And so we get to the room, and we're exhausted. We just want to go to bed. And we're like, what do we do with all this crap that's all over the place?
We slept on top of it.
Oh, my goodness.
We slept on top of it.
Horrible.
We slept on top of it mostly because, well, you made like the most beautiful heart out of rose petals on the bed, okay? And we slept on top of it.
Yeah.
Exhausted, okay?
Exhausted.
We wake up the next morning. This is hilarious to me because we wake up the next morning and it literally was this ray of light from the window that was like bothering my eye, right? And I like wake up, I'm like so confused because I'm disoriented by my surroundings, all right? And then it's like I get up to go pee and I just feel like me and a second skin is coming up with me.
Oh my goodness,
okay?
It's so bad.
Because I am covered in rose petals everywhere. Covered. And then I look at the bed and there is an impression of my body.
In red.
Hold on.
It was horrible.
The sheets.
So I get the amazing idea to open up the window.
We have to hide it.
Yeah, to open up the window, right? And I was just gonna throw all the rose petals out the window, right? And I open the door and I throw them out the window. Rose petals flying into the parking lot, over people's cars. It didn't matter. We just got them out.
People were gonna go to their car and say, "What?
Yeah, what the heck happened here?" And then we looked at the sheets, and it was worse than what it looked like on the bed because now there are no rose petals, and it's just this humongous.
It looks like someone took lipstick and just drew all over the bed,
and
died.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was afraid of. They're gonna think someone was murdered.
There was a murder in here. Oh my goodness! And we panicked.
We did.
We panicked, and we just threw it all away.
Those poor people. When they got up to that room that day, they were like, "Where are the sheets?
Where are the sheets?
What happened to the sheets?"
Oh man!
But we left no trace, so they couldn't charge us.
They couldn't.
Although they could have charged us for taking the sheets.
Listen, if they would have called me and asked me about the sheets, I would have been like, "What are you talking about?"
And they're so sweet.
What are you talking about?
What sheets?
What
we were
sheets?
cold.
It was freezing
at night.
last night. It was horrible. I would have gotten my money back.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
my goodness.
And so with that, that's like the end of I Do.
Goodness.
And
yet,
yet,
hearing it, it's crazy to me, and I lived it.
it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy because, and clearly, like in the upcoming podcast, we have 21 years of life to fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
Because there's so much life that's been jam-packed into those 21 years. And just to see our start, I remember watching a quick bit on Channel 7 News, about, if you have any of these 10 issues in your marriage, researchers say that you're in the high percentage of getting divorced.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember looking at that and going down that list. It's like a 5-minute segment, and we checked off every single thing. We should not be together. Our story should not have worked out. And there's nothing that I think that I can credit us for, because we were young and dumb and totally infatuated with each other.
Yep.
And that literally only carried us to red flags.
Listen, the decisions that we made throughout the entire first year, 6 months, were...
How about days?
Days, yeah. Hours. Like, what were we thinking?
Yeah. What were we thinking?
But here we are.
And here we are.
And you guys get to hear all of our insanity. And we are so excited that you're joining us for it. Because honestly, and I know we say this at the end of every podcast, but if you've gotten to hear, that is amazing to us. It really warms us, warms our heart to know that there's somebody who wants to hear it.
Yeah, and for me, just thinking about like in 2 days, we'll be celebrating that 21st anniversary, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't get. Like, haven't we lived together 21 years already? And we're going on to our 22nd? This is like the end of the race.
We're starting our 22nd year.
That's what I'm saying. We're celebrating the end of making it 21 years.
Yes.
Correct. Okay. So there you go.
You don't get the stamp in your passport unless you walk through
the
security.
But anyway, like just knowing, like for me, knowing that there's other people who are sharing this with us, especially in this time where, we can't celebrate in a big way like we would have because of COVID and all of that stuff. It's just nice to be able to share our anniversary and our craziness with our listeners.
Yep, definitely. So make sure to check us out on Instagram. We are putting up pictures to go along with what we're talking about, and it's if you go to Instagram, search the This and That Chat, all spelled out all the way across, and you'll be able to see some pictures of us on our wedding day and
and after. Yeah.
Yep. So
and also, like, we want to hear from you, so you can reach out to us on Instagram, send us a message, or on our website.
Yeah, on our website, thethisandthatchat.com.
Send us a message.
We've made it really easy. If you look anywhere for us, it's the This and That Chat for everything. So wherever you may be, if it's on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on Google Play, on whatever it is that you're listening to us on YouTube, it's all going to be exactly the same. And please, please, please share this podcast with anyone who you think would be interested in listening.
Yep. So until next time.
Until next time.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.